now I'm super excited, super grateful and excited to welcome our one of our local heroes, Syracuse born and raised, is that right?
Yeah.
Syracuse born and raised, Lemoyne graduate.
Yep.
And you've seen her in several amazing films, Forrest Gump, Men in Black. You've seen her in lots of great television shows, Seinfeld, Saturday Night Live, 30 Rock, and many others, many others. We could be here all night reading her IMDb list. Please welcome Siobhan Fallon Hogan.
I'm going to take this off here because I'm not really a podium person. So, whoa. And then, okay, so I just want to say that for how many of you have actually worked in the film, on a professional film already? Okay, and the rest of you want to work on a professional film or you're just interested. So, for some reason, to me, I mean, when I was starting off, I thought film was kind of intimidating. I don't know why. So, and I think that most of us might agree that you first did plays, like in your basement or in your backyard. And now for this generation, it's gotten a little different because now you have telephones so you can make films and things like that. But when I first got into theater, I did plays in high school, then at Lemoyne, and then I did plays in New York City, and then I got a film. And I did not know what I was doing. But my father always said, fake it till you make it. And literally, I want to tell you guys, fake it till you make it. Like, I got on this film, and Glenn Close, and it's so funny, like the younger kids are like, who's that? And I have to say, from 101 Dalmatians, and the rest of us know who she is. She's a fabulous actress, and it was a movie called The Paper, and I was her secretary. And I thought, I knew how to do plays, but I really didn't know the exact technique for doing film, and I was never taught it. And I thought, well, I can pray, but I really don't know what I'm doing. And so she said, would you like to run lines? And I said, sure. And so I was in my wardrobe, and we go up in the elevator, and she said, so and I was like, oh my God, I don't even know what she just said, but I think I just heard one word that I recognized, and it was fired. So I think we're running lines, meaning we're going over the script. And I was like, oh, apparently when you're in a film, it's really small. So it's not like, when you're on stage. So the whole point, what I want to say to you is that this is so exciting in Syracuse. And when I did a film here this summer, and I was like, my God, I would love to work in Syracuse, and Syracuse could so easily be Atlanta, where there's productions going on all the time. And in Vancouver, where there's production going on all the time. And they're places that have really good reputations because the people are really nice and the people really know what they're doing. But if you want to be on a film and you've never worked on a film, don't be intimidated, because it's just, the people are just like you and me, and they're just like the people in the plays, and they're just like the people at the grocery store. They're just we have a common interest and a common love. What I wanted to talk to you about tonight is that I worked in European films, which is really funny. I don't really know how that happened, but makes me sound really sophisticated, but I'm not. Anyway, so actually what happened was I was in New York City. I had a baby, like my second or third baby, and I had to get on the subway to take it down for this audition, and I was so exhausted. And I really had only done comedy. I'd been completely pegged for comedy. So it'd be just like something, say if you're saying, I've really only done, I'm really in this segment of film, I really want to do this. Or I really want to act in film, but no one will ever give me a shot. Well, I always want to do serious roles, but I was completely pegged for comedy. So this European director never watched any American films. American comedy, like American TV shows. And I was up all night with a baby, so I had to cry for the part. And so and most other people would be like, "Are you kidding?" Like when I would even cry, they'd be like, "Are you kidding? Are you crying? Are you laughing?" Anyways, but this guy didn't know me, so he gave me a shot. So, in other words, don't ever peg yourself into a hole. If what you really want, I really believe in picturing your future and imagining exactly what you want to do. So you say, I really want to be an actor. I really want to be a cinematographer. So you got to have your end goal, right? This is what you want to do. This is where I really want to be. And someone said to me once when I was starting out in my 20s, and I was desperate and depressed in New York, and they said, you know what? And I went to this class, on how to develop yourself in your career. And I paid for it. It was, anyway, and I was like, hey, here, please guide me. And this guy said, take someone's career that you really admire and see what their steps were. And so I took this actress, and I was like, I really like her career. And at first, it's really overwhelming when you find someone that you like really aspire to be like. And then say, what steps did that person take? And so this person was in a lot of choruses first, did a lot of extra work. I did extra work. It's terrible. Remember, I did extra work on a commercial, and they were like, "Lady in the red dress." They would yell action. It was like a commercial for toothpaste, and they said on action you were supposed to fake dancing, and they were going to plug the music in later in post production. Meaning, so you're fake dancing. So I was like, I was with this guy. I didn't even know who he was, but I thought it was so funny that I like laughed. They're like, "Lady in the red dress, please no talking." And I was like, and I was like, okay, sorry. And then I like danced again, and I like hit a flap, and I was like, oh my god, this is a disaster. And then another time I did extra work on a soap opera, and people love to abuse extras. So, but don't let it get you, because that's where most people started out that are acting. And they said, there's a fire, and they're like, guys, cut, there's a fire. Could you please react like there's a fire? So I was like, all right. So they're like, all right, action. And I'm like, Siobhan Fallon! I screamed my own name to get my name out there. But anyway, so I was like, picture my future. Anyway, I'm going to get my name on TV. This is how I'm going to do it. They're like, huh. Anyway, so what I want to say to you is, okay, so you're in Syracuse, you want to be in film, and you're on the production end or you're on the acting end, you're like, you know what, I want to be part of this, but I don't know how to do it. So you got CNY Films, and you say, you know what, I didn't get hired for this film. You know what I would do? I would say, I will work for free. I will work for free on this film. What do you want me to do? And then when they tell you no, you show up at the set. And you go, hey, I heard that you might need somebody to get coffee, and I got a car full of gas, or I don't, and I'll lie and say I do, and I will go get coffee, because I want to be part of this. And then what you do is you got to know, like, okay, if you want to be smart, like there's a movie coming to town, and there's a director, and there's a producer. You find out, you don't even know who this guy is, but this guy's supposed to be somebody, or you're the woman's doing, she's somebody. You find out what they've done, and you find out where they came from, and you pick something like, hey, I didn't know you're from Canastota. And like, oh, how'd you know that? Oh, I've read a lot about you. Meanwhile, you just read it this morning on Wikipedia, but you get to know, so you get in there, you know what I mean? Because you gotta like what's gonna set me apart? The other thing that is really different between European films and American films is that in European films, there's really no, when they say, and this is the other thing, like right now if I said this, I'd be like, oh yeah, I know what she means, but I really wouldn't. So when you say above the line and below the line, well, for those of you that don't know what that means when the credits roll at the end of a movie, above the line is the director, the producer, the stars. Below the line is, the crew, like the props, and here, for some ridiculous reason, in film, some people are like, they treat that person differently that's doing props or doing the grip. In Europe, they don't do that. Everyone's in a common project, just like the play that you did in the basement that you want to be fabulous, and they all work together. And I think if Syracuse adopted that philosophy, and you say, you know what, we're going to be the type that we don't diss someone because they're not where I am yet in the hierarchy of film. And here's the other thing. When I was in LA years ago, and my friend was like, hey, my brother does commercials, and he needs someone to help out with costumes. Would you shop? And I was like, sure. And I was a disaster. I couldn't even, you have to keep your receipts. I definitely lost money on the job. She'd be like, those socks were definitely, have the receipt somewhere. Anyway, and I remember we had to share a trailer. And so the hair and makeup was doing makeup at one end, and I was doing wardrobe, which was ridiculous. I didn't know what I was doing, and I was like ironing, which my daughter recently said to me, well, about 5 years ago at my sister Sheila's house, she goes, "What is that?" And I was like, "That's an ironing board. Most Americans have them, but I don't iron." But anyway, so I remember I was ironing, and the makeup girl goes, "Wardrobe lady, wardrobe lady." I was like 25. I'm doing eyes, and I was like, "Oh." But anyway, my thing is just like in any other business, you have to support the family of the film. So if you think someone's inexperienced, you don't like glom onto that and be like, "Oh, they really don't know what they're doing," but so no, you go, "Oh, she's great. Yeah, she did a film, and guess what?" And same with actors. Everybody has done a film because you just take your phone, you're not lying, you filmed yourself. Oh, I've done that. And so same with young actors. Like they'll always say, "Do you have any film? Do you have any tape?" "Yeah, film, I have tape." "What have you done?" My son, literally in college right now, I was like, he's really interested in acting and film, and I go, "I've done a few shorts." "No, I haven't." "Yeah, I have." "With your sister." "I have." "Yeah, let's name it. What was it called?" "Me and my sister." "Oh, look, you did a short. Put it on your resume." Okay, but then you got to back it up. So look, I don't want you to be a total con, but you got it. So I am halfway between what Elias said and Owen, which I do. Actors have to get training. If you don't have the money to get training, you can watch. This is the biggest piece of advice I'm ever going to give anybody. Michael Caine's Acting on Film. I went to 2 years of graduate school, laid on the floor and learned how to breathe, and I thought, this is really expensive. They're like, "You are..." I remember one time I walked around a room and they're like, "Be a color, be a color." This is actually at Lemoyne. With Dr. Cook, did you know him? He goes, "Everybody walk around and be a color." And so I picked up this gray mitten and I brought it up to him and he's like, "What are you doing?" I go, "I don't know, you said be a color." I was being the gray. And he's like, you be the color." I was like, "Oh, what?" I don't get this. But anyway, I was trained for film. For me, I really believe the Meisner technique, and you can buy this book or William Esper, who studied under him. There's something called Sanford Meisner. I think it's called Acting on Film. I think it's probably the only book he wrote. But you can look up actors, and you say, "Who studied Meisner?" And like the other thing is when you go on a film set and you go to an actor, "Hey, I really think that I like what you studied." You just look people up and know who they are. So just like any other job, because people are egomaniacs and they want to go like, that person knows my stuff. And then you say, "Hey, you go to a producer, director and say, you directed such and such, and I really like that. And I know you're from Wisconsin, and I like cheese." And by the way, if you needed me to drive you around while you're here, I'd love to drive you. And the next thing you know, the guy's like, "Hey, you want to be my assistant?" So don't be afraid, is what I'm trying to say, is to get in and work for nothing. And know that the end of the goal is to be making a lot of money. You know what I mean? Don't be afraid to do that. And then what else was I going to say to you? Let me look at my notes, okay? Oh, I was going to say walk-ons, drive-ons, contacts. No, I'm not kidding. Okay, so but Syracuse has a fabulous potential, and the young people, and all of us now have such potential to say, no one's stopping me from writing something. Every single time I had a lull in my career, I wrote a one-woman show. Because I was like, well, I know who cats might be, me. I know who can write it, me. And I can, that's another thing, fake it till you make it. Then you rent out a space and you go to people, "You better get your tickets because I'm almost sold out." Meanwhile, you're like, "I've sold 5 tickets and they're all my family members and I have to pay for them." So no one can stop you from being your own deal. You know what I mean? And then, so don't be afraid of that. Anyway, now I know what they wanted me to ask. I hope did I make that clear? Anybody have any questions? Yeah. Oh yeah, it's my sister. Okay, the other thing I would advise my sister's like, don't forget, She's a lawyer, by the way. If you get hurt on a set, call her. So she's just trying to get some money. Hey, listen, she's working it too. Sheila Fallon. Okay, no, listen. So, no, I'm not. Anyway, so another thing is this. When actors come to town, or producers come to town, and directors come to town, people assume that they're, they have some big life going on. Meanwhile, they're sitting in your hotel room thinking, I don't have to work for another 3 days. I wish someone would do something with me. So, in Europe, they will say, listen, here's this list of restaurants. We're going out to dinner tomorrow night. Would you like to join? Or, because the weekends can get a little lonely too. Here, the weekend's coming up. A bunch of us are going to do this. Do you want to, you want to come and do it? So in other words, don't be afraid of fraternizing with people who you think are, high up. Because people are just people. Who cares? We're all going to end up pushing up the daisies. Doesn't matter. But that's my sister's point. She's really inspiring. Yes. What's that? What do I do this weekend? Well, there's a snowstorm coming. No, my daughter's turning 24 tomorrow, and I have to go take her to in Albany to dinner. Yes.
So when you moved to your first big, after Syracuse, did you move to LA?
I moved to New York. I was a complete loser. I was such a loser that I tried to be a waitress in a restaurant, and I would get me the meals, and I'd be like, absolutely no one looks familiar, because I would get so nervous, and people were so mean. They're like, we'd like some silverware with this first. And I was like, oh. So I was a receptionist in a law firm. But I believed in the concept, always, what goes around comes around. So I worked in this law firm. I was a receptionist, because that's all I could do was answer phones. Now, and by the way, I'm not knocking any receptionists. I'm just saying I had zero skills, but I could talk on the phone. I also used to jiggle the wires so the phones would go out occasionally, so that if I had an audition, I'd be like, oh, no, the phone's out, I got an audition. Anyway, so I would get every single actor I knew a job. There was one girl who was so annoying that I went to Catholic U to graduate school, and I was like, you guys, I'm going to get blah, 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 a job. And they're like, you can't, Siobhan. You cannot give her a job. She's so annoying. I'm like, no, I'm getting her a job. Literally, I was so ready to quit the acting business. My father was like, okay, honestly, is there anything going on? You should come home. And this girl who I didn't want to give a job to, didn't want to get her a job, she's like, hey, Siobhan, there's an audition for a comedy. It was improv comedy at this place, Who's On First? And I was like, okay. And I got the job. And I swear to you, it's because if you're kind to someone on the set who's everybody else is treating like garbage, they will help you out later. It all comes out in the wash. And people that you're good to, slow and steady wins the race. You'll be like this, I'm going to help that person out. And the next thing you know, they're way ahead of the game. It's just like me now. Now I'm a little older. And, when the young directors come in, now people my age, some of the directors price themselves right out of the ball game, which by that I mean their ticket is so high that they want to hire a young guy to direct. So people my age are dying to meet the young directors. Anyway, yes?
So what was the hardest part about moving from Syracuse to New York City? What was the scariest part about that whole...
For me?
Yeah.
Okay, it's funny you asked that. I was completely a scaredy cat, and I thought someone was going to kill me at all times. I mean, I probably have major problems. But anyway, I was like, I would get in my building and be like, okay, I'm in. And if I can get up the stairs without someone clocking me over the head, I'm good. But I was very scared of the city. I don't know why. And then I love the city more than anyone else. As a matter of fact, part of being up here, as all of you know, is that the beauty of the landscape and you could film at Chenango Falls, you could film at Armory Square. You've got everything. You could make this place look like just about anywhere. My daughter is very outdoorsy, and she posted a picture on Facebook of cross-country skiing on Long Lake up in the Adirondacks. And I said, my cousin said, oh, that's really pretty. I spent a lot of time up there. And I said, oh, that does look really pretty. I've always heard the outdoors were great. Because I don't really exercise and stuff. But anyway, the other thing is that she said to me, oh yeah, so I called her question, oh yeah, Mom, that's called the North Country. I was like, yeah, I know. I'm from here. I know where it is. I just didn't go to it. But anyway, but also, you know, a lot of actors, and I think film sets too, there's something about it, well, they're trying to intimidate the person that doesn't know. Like, actors will always, like, a lot of times you're waiting for an audition, they'll be like, oh yeah, so I just got finished working with, you know, Steven Spielberg, and it went well. And you're like, oh no, I've got nothing. And so I remember the first movie I ever got was this movie called Greedy. It was with Michael J. Fox, Kirk Douglas, who's now one of the 103. And anyway, and I was like, I read this book, Creative Visualization, which you should get. It's like, you know, people that, here I'm totally Catholic and I'm like in this crazy, like picturing myself, what goes around comes around, but I really believe in this stuff. So I was like, I'm sitting there going, I will get this. I am fabulous. If I get this, I promise to share and pay it forward. I'm great. All of a sudden, this girl gets off the elevator who's totally famous. I'm like, oh, I'm screwed. So I go, wait a minute. I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to shift, just like a car. I'm like, okay. Don't get intimidated. It's like talking to yourself the entire time like a lunatic. I'm driving the car. I go, all right, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to pretend I'm Betty Davis. Betty Davis is this, you're like, who's she? She was this really, really, really famous, fabulous actress. So I'm like, I'm going to pretend in my sick mind that I'm more famous than her, and this director wants to see me more than her. And so that's what you got to do. You got to say, I got it. You got to talk to yourself all the time. I got it. I got what it takes. I can do this. I'm just as good as that person. I might not be there yet, but you know what? And if someone treats me like garbage for some reason because they're having a bad day, I'm not going to let it get to me. I will, in your mind, like they will rue the day. They will rue the day, and you're not gonna spite them. You're not gonna treat them like garbage. You're just gonna go, oh, hi, working now. Remember when you were on to me? But you don't even have to say it. You just think. Anyway, any other questions?
When you were first starting out, how did you find auditions?
Well, in the old days, there used to be a newspaper called the Backstage, and now guess what? It's online. And so, because my son has it, so you just submit, and you can go to some things, and it will be like, you know, like anything else, it'll be like the bottom of the barrel job, but you're like, I remember one time my parents were going on vacation, they're like, hey, we're going to go to Vermont skiing, do you want to go? And I was like, no, I'm doing a show on 13th Street, New York City. I think during the week I counted, there was a drip in the ceiling of the theater. It was like, bloop, bloop, bloop. I think total, the amount of people that saw that show while my parents were away for 4 days was like it averaged like three people a night. But anyway, but you got to pay your dues, and you have to go on Backstage. And then also, if you do go to Manhattan, and then you want to come back up and work up here, is zero in on a few agents, and don't zero on the top agent. Zero on the newest person. Hi, here's my picture again. Don't be shy. Like, invite them to every single thing you do. I just did a short in my living room. Here it is. You want to look at it? You know what I mean? Yeah. You have to be kind of creative about making people think that you're doing something more than you're doing.
You said that upcoming actors and stuff should offer themselves to work for free on certain sets and stuff. Well, would that be vice versa? If vice or big time actors see upcoming directors and producers and big time actors work? Will they be willing to work for people with little next to nothing because we see potential in them? Or?
I think so, definitely. I mean, there's times when my agent's like, look, there's this job, it's with this new director, but this is all they're going to offer. And I'm like, don't tell a soul, I'm taking it. You know what I mean? Just for the chance. Yeah, just for the chance. You know what I mean? And you can write to them. People, listen, the art of writing letters is over. Write a letter. Be like, listen, I'm a huge fan. I love that film that you did. I think you're great. I would love to do anything. I'll do a walk-on. I'm a huge fan of yours. I'll pick you up at the airport and you get there if you don't have a ride. You know what I mean? Just go out of the box and don't be thinking don't second guess yourself and think anything you do is stupid. Just be like, you know what, I'm going to try it. You know what I mean? Yeah. Yeah.
So, doing a lot of research about headshots.
Oh, yeah.
Headshot is the key. And the whole branding thing. So, you walk into a casting room, they see a headshot, that person does this. But you're saying, don't pigeonhole yourself. How do you
Right. I think the whole headshot thing can be a little bit of a scam, and I think they really capitalize on new actors. Like, they'll be like, yeah, I mean, it happened to me. I remember this agent was like, listen, you really need a new headshot. And I was like, okay. And so she goes, I know this guy. Guess who it was? Her husband. I was like, that guy needs a job too. So anyway, so here's the deal too. Like, you with the technology, you can take a really good shot of yourself. Like, go on IMDb. And first of all, these headshots are so screwed up now. It's like half of somebody's head. They're like, You're like, so, and they're trying to really cool. They pose like they're like, well, I wonder if they have the other side of their face. But anyway, so you can get someone to take your headshot and not spend a fortune and save that money for, like, I don't know, traveling to the audition, or, you know what I mean? Get someone and say, because nobody knows if it came from a really big professional, if you're going to blow all your money up front before you even. I'd use that money to take an acting class, or, you know what I mean? I mean, you want it to look good. Listen, you're not stupid. You know when there's a good. Hey, like me, I look at pictures of myself, I'm like, is there a good picture of me? But you know there's probably lots of good pictures of you, so you're like, hey, this is a good one, and then show your friends or your sisters, and they'll be very honest, like, oh, no. Like, my one sister says to me, now listen, I just want you to know, you don't look the way you look in films. I was like, I think that means I look bad. That's okay, I'm a character actress. But anyway, so you know if there's a good picture of you, you know what I mean? So don't spend a fortune getting a picture when you're starting out. Any other questions? You're like, please, I'd like to go home. Yes?
In your opinion, what is the difference between a good and a great actor?
Okay, well, the difference between a good and a great actor. There's something that can't be taught that's just the X factor that you're like, I don't know why that guy or that girl has just a sparkle that just is just something else. You know what I mean? Like Sam Rockwell or like Jack Nicholson or Diane Weiss. There's just some people that have an extra sparkle. Then there's people that are safe. You know what I mean? They're like, I'm just going to play this safe. And then there's people that just are, I really draw from, like this Meisner technique that I was telling you about. You draw from your own personal experience. So really quickly, in a nutshell, is say I have a scene and I'm really, really mad at this girl because she stole my pocketbook. Now, in the role, I don't know who this girl is. I don't know who this pocketbook is. So I go, wait a minute. I'm going to go back to when my sister woke me up in the morning and said, can I wear this necklace to school? And I said, no. And she goes, why not? And I go, because I really like it. It's new. And she goes, well, here, good. Now you have two. And she handed me him. And so you insert in your own experience, and you're not afraid to use any of those emotions. You know what I mean? I hope that explained it. Yes.
When you were first starting out, was there any one actor whose craft and work ethic you said, that's who I want to be? Anyway.
Well, okay, my first really good part in a movie was the film called The Negotiator, and Samuel L. Jackson was in it. And that was a perfect example, the greatest guy, a perfect example of people tiptoeing around him and thinking he's so huge and famous that I don't want to talk to him. So I thought, I kind of feel sorry for him that no one talks to him because, you know, you could become like so big that people think that you're unapproachable. So I was like, Sam, and I would talk to him all the time. Cut to, totally classy, and this is another thing, no one writes thank you notes. End of the, I always got gifts for people. He gave me a music box. He's like, it was great. I love talking to you all the time. Blah 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 blah. And I had the music box on my dresser for at least 6 months. And my friend Monica, did you ever watch Everybody Loves Raymond? Okay, so she played Amy the cops. You know the cop. Anyway, just for point of reference, she's really funny. So she comes over and she goes. So we were talking about it. I said, I love Samuel L. Jackson. He's the best guy. And she goes. I said, matter of fact, he gave me this music box. She said, what does it play? I said, I don't know. She says, well, let me hear it. So it's like, you have to have a lot of patience for a music box. You got to be able to really actually listen to it. So it goes, so we turn it, crank, 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 and it goes, doo, 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 doo. And Monica goes, oh my God, it's playing You've Got a Friend in Me. You are friends with Samuel L. Jackson. I go, oh my God. I never knew it played that. I just thought it was some I don't know, little ditty. Anyway, So he was awesome, and people that are really classy like that, who listen, they know that they're a big deal, and they're people that still love being people and want to relate to. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, was a great person. Lauren Bacall for the older group, she and I were on a plane together, and I had my kids, and like Cheetos are falling out of the plane, and she's like got her Louis Vuitton bags, and 3 weeks later we're friends, and she said, "Did you ever think we'd be friends?" And I was like, "No, actually." She's like, "Either did I. I'm a big Jew and you're a big Catholic, and you've got that tribe behind you." And then she said, "Do you have a job after this?" She was 80 years old. I go, "No, you?" She goes, "No, aren't we pathetic?" And she's like, "Do you believe I'm 80 years old, still desperate for a job?" That's another thing too. You're your own publicist. Like I did Shakespeare, I did Saturday Night Live, and then I did Shakespeare in the Park, and I was off Saturday Night Live, but people really didn't know it. And my friend was in LA, and he was a real supporter, and someone said, "I heard Siobhan's not on Saturday Night Live anymore. What's she doing?" And he goes, "Shakespeare in the Park." I go, "PJ, it's February." And he goes, "They're stupid out here. They don't know." No, there's snow in the park. There's like 6 feet of snow in the park. He goes, "Who cares? I just told you you're doing Shakespeare in the Park." I go, "Good, keep it going." And then, this is another thing we do in New York. I'd say, like you'd see a friend, you'd be so, down to your last penny, like, "I'll see you on the set." Like, what's that? Not working? Anyway, so you always your own best publicist, because people love to say in film, people in film, "What are you doing now?" Like, you're definitely done. I think it's over. You know what I mean? But you don't. You keep it going for yourself in your mind. You got to be your own best friend. You got to be like, "I can do this. God, you got to help me. I'm going to pay it forward. I'm going to be rotten to that person. I'm going to be nice to that person that's rotten to me. And I am in Syracuse, and I'm going to be a family that like just supports each other, and we can make this area, Atlanta or Vancouver, easily. And Syracuse is a lot closer to New York City than it is to Atlanta, and so it's just a matter of time. But I'm telling you, don't be afraid to work for nothing at first, to say, "I got a plan." And you know what my plan is? I'm going to make a lot of money in the film business, and I'm going to do this job. This is what I really want to do in it. And I'm going to see every Academy Award-winning film, every indie film that's won anything. I'm going to educate myself in the meantime instead of feeling sorry for myself, eating bonbons. I'm going to educate myself, and when I know Joe Schmo's coming in town to direct, I'm going to find out everything he did and go up to him and go, "Over the donuts. Hey, you want to try these donuts? Oh, hey, I heard you did Jiminy Cricket." The guy's like, "You did?" Or you picked the most random film they've ever done, like when they first started. "How do you know that?" "Oh, I've studied you." "You did?" "Yeah." "Could I drive you to the airport?" "No." Anyway, any other questions? Am I talking too long? You're probably like, please, God, shut up. Yes.
So you mentioned earlier about inviting agents to everything.
Oh, yeah.
The thing is, when you're here in Syracuse, there aren't agents, and so it's kind of awkward to invite like New York City agents to stuff you're doing in Syracuse.
Okay. So for acting. Okay, well, another thing you can do is this. You can get your tape, and then you can invite critics to come, and you pretend that you're publicist, but you're somebody else. Like, I did a one-woman show, and I literally went around LA with balloons, and I was like, "Hi, I'm Siobhan Fallon's publicist. I'd like to invite you to her show." They're like, "Wow, she's a publicist?" I was like, "Yeah, she does." And then they call up, and they're like, "Hey, I met you the other day, and I wanted to come to Siobhan Fallon's show." And I'm like, "Oh, good, sounds good. And how many will that be?" 2. "Well, that's free for you." "All right, I'll meet you after the show." I'm like, "Oh, my publicist isn't here tonight. How'd you like the show?" Anyway, so you know what I mean? So you invite critics, so you get print on yourself. Another, when you can't get critics to come, I did this show and I wrote at the top, "Most fabulous show we've ever seen." And then you write really small, "Someone who saw it." People don't read that part, they only read the quote. It's all smoke and mirrors, you know what I mean? Until you get going, then you can admit it.
One more question?
Yes. One more question? Yes.
Your coolest or strangest departure from what you thought was traditional acting?
Well, sorry, say that again?
Coolest or strangest departure from what you thought was traditional acting?
Oh, well, that would be this summer. He goes, "What was your strangest departure from traditional acting?" Okay, first of all, I don't know what happened, but I'm now in horror films. I don't even watch them because I'm too afraid. I'm too afraid that I'll have bad dreams. So, my kids are kind of into them. I don't know why. Anyway, so I get cast in this movie up here, and I'm like, this is thrilling because I live in Casanova, and I'm like, I can drive, and this is people I know, and I'm like, this is my people. And anyway, so the very first scene, they decide to do the scene where I get like, I don't know, bit in the neck and blood spurts out, and there's like, it's sweltering, so hot, you know, like the August humidity, and I go, what is the blood anywhere? They're like, it's red corn syrup, and I'm like all stuck together. I'm like, oh my god. Anyway, and you're like, but no matter what kind of film you do, you have to make it real and make it like, you know, it's like people that aren't good in comedies are because they try to make it funny. Whereas if you play the comedy role as if you're completely serious and it's real to you, you know what I mean? But anyway, so my biggest departure is the horror films. Oh yes.
Do you have any advice for me? I want to be a child actor. Do you have any advice for child actors in general?
Well, first of all, you're all set because you look like $1 million, and so you have a great look. And then you just write to these people and say, "Here's my picture. How old are you?"
11.
I'm 11. I will work hard. I'll do whatever you want. If there's any roles that come along for my age, please, consider me. And don't just write once. People are like, it's like, oh my gosh, I wrote once and they didn't write me back. I can't believe it. I feel terribly. I feel so stupid. I stuck my neck out. No, I would write almost like constantly. You know what I mean? You have to be like the squeaky wheel. Like, you know what? That beautiful little redhead that's 11, I'm going to finally give her a part because she keeps writing to me. for no other reason. But also, your age, I would write my own scripts and film them and make them short and post them so that, or what is that called? YouTube. You know what I mean? Because no one can stop you. I don't want to brag, but I was in Fred. And, this TV show Fred. And this kid he was one of 8. His family would go to mass, and he would say, I'm going to stay home, and he'd film himself, and the next thing you know, he has his own show. I'm really proud of it. Anyway, so yeah. Any other questions? Yes.
I've been contacted by a couple of agents in New York,
Uh-huh.
but when they find out that I don't live in New York,
You tell them you do. You say, I got an apartment there. It's really nice. What street? I don't want to give that away right now, but no, I live there. I do the same thing with LA. They're like, Siobhan, are you willing to be a local hire? I'm like, yeah, I'll figure it out.
so you don't give them like your address or anything?
No, I would just say, I'm down there all the time. I have a place down there. You know what I mean? And then you could take the bus down in a day.
Yeah, and the interesting thing is that they have people in the room films here, are having people from New York and outside of New York, and they're driving them up here, but for me to go down there, they don't want that. So
But don't tell them. Say, I'm available all the time. And then if it's a money matter, you stay out in New Jersey or you do a swap. Yeah. No, you just don't. You don't tell them I'm in Syracuse. No, you say, I'm bistatal. I'm bi-counting. It's very popular to be bi anyway. So that's the deal.
Last
So
question?
yeah.
Last one? One last question?
All right, well, you said you're busy Friday. Why don't you come out Saturday to my event to launch my business?
See? She's launching her business, but see, I'm not going to be here this weekend, but okay, look at her. I can make it by Michelle DiBernardo this Saturday. Where is it? 9:15 Park Avenue. You got to go to it. There's another girl came up to me. Kate, where's Kate? She came.
Right here.
Wait, where'd she go?
She got us so big.
Anyway, she came to me. She goes, I just want to give you my resume. Right there. Is your first name Kate? Sarah. Well, see, I'm such a people person. You're like, well, that was helpful. You can't remember my name. Sarah, stand up. So Sarah came up to me and she goes, would you mind if I give you my resume? And I was like, no, absolutely. So, but you know what I mean? Because that's someone who sticks out. I'm like, well, now if I knew someone that needed a type like Sarah, I have a resume and say, hey, I know this really pretty girl. Are you Indian?
No, from Pakistan.
Pakistan. I thought that was Indian. I am such an idiot. Listen, I wasn't a history major. So I know this beautiful Pakistani girl, and she would be great in your film. You know what I mean? Because she said, I'm going to go up and say something. Where somebody else is like, I'm not going to say anything to that weird-looking redhead who's getting old. Anyway, thank you so much for having me. I wish you luck. And thank you. Thank you so much. But I want to say, I want to say this. But in closing, I totally believe in this place, in Syracuse. I totally believe in you Don't anybody ever let anybody tell you no, or we're not Atlanta, or we're not, when people come, you have a lot of water in the trailer, you beat them to the punch, you have everything ready, and if someone says, hey, does that wardrobe woman know what she's doing? She didn't really see. Yes, she knows everything. She's done a million things. You got to trust her. She's the best. You have to support each other. You're a family for a film. You're not a dysfunctional family for a film. You're the family for the film.